Anderson. They need to be patient, England. Madueke. Raya and Alcacer blocking his path. Patience is a virtue, England, and others will require at times during the World Cup. This is far from an unwelcome exercise. Nico O'Reilly, Anthony Gordon. Behind it goes off Mitchell. Worked it from one side to the other, England, in the hope of finding a route towards goal. In the end, Jella Mitchell made sure that that didn't happen. Instead, England have their first corner kick of the second half. And from Declan Rice. Deep with it, Nico O'Reilly didn't make contact. Alcacer away. But look how rapidly England regroup. Anderson for Gordon. He wants to get on the ball. Taking on Queiroz. Sakira. Wasn't sure who else was arriving. Madueke will have to settle for a throw. Anthony Gordon fouled by Hachel Queiroz, half-time substitute. The only half-time alteration that either side made. Konsa. Madueke. Rice gets it back from James. His Arsenal teammate Noni Madueke. Sent the cross beyond the reach of Anthony Gordon. Well, 16 different clubs are represented in Thomas Tuchel's England squad. That's as many as England have had at a World Cup since 1962. Plenty of variety in terms of where his players play their football. It's all about finding a cohesion as a team unit now during a elongated World Cup. So stepping forward has been fouled, and Salazar is about to discover that he's going to get a yellow card for that challenge. Very little attempt by Salazar to play the ball. Recently returns to the international fold. Aaron Salazar, involved in the last 4 games now. Those are his first caps since August of 2021. Another change for Costa Rica. Soto, the scorer of their goal against Colombia last week, has been withdrawn, and Christopher Nunez is on to replace him. Rice with the free kick. Kane was the target. And they made sure the ball didn't get as far as England's world-class centre-forward, and Sakira grabs the ball gleefully. Rice for Kane. Charged down immediately by Araya. O'Reilly is in. Oh, I thought that O'Reilly had fouled him, but actually the decision has been made for earlier contact, and it's in England's favour. Yeah, that there, the outstretched arm. What happened afterwards was rendered null and void. England have shown some urgency, but Sakira remains beaten just the once. Pressure here on James, being forced backwards by Alcacer. Anderson. Subject of much speculation about where he'll be playing his football next season. And he wins the throw, despite the claims of Mora. Patrick Sakira, who has had a good day so far in that Costa Rica goal, has an issue. It requires treatment. So, Abraham Madrid is getting gloved up just in case. Well, one of the big decisions that Fernando Batista, the still relatively fresh head coach of Costa Rica, has made is to leave a legendary figure, Keylor Navas, out of the squad for the game today against England and against Colombia last week, with a view to assessing the goalkeeping options for the future. Appears to be where Sakira hurt himself. Sakira is the one who has played a decent amount of international football before winning his 18th cap for Abraham Madrid, and Bayron Mora, the other backup goalkeeper. It would be a senior debut if they were to get involved. Well, a particularly fine first-half save to claw aside a Harry Kane header. He also reacted well to a Noni Madueke shot. He wanted vigour, intensity from his team today, Thomas Tuchel. This long delay won't exactly be helping them settle into the kind of rhythm that they would like. Something that has been stamped out ahead of the World Cup is that when a goalkeeper is receiving treatment, it is not to be used as an opportunity for an impromptu team talk. Either head coach. A bit of unrest at the length of time that this has taken. Already delayed by an hour by the weather in Orlando. Has had a further hiatus, but England have the ball at their feet, and the changes that we were told to expect from the hour mark onwards are about to begin. James forward. Bellingham. Determined work. And the ball ends up behind for a goal kick. Samar Alcacer doggedly making sure that Bellingham couldn't get the space to deliver across. Sekera has continued in goal, but is clearly not able to deal with goal kicks for the time being. James sees the ball out of play for an England throw. Anderson foul. And yes, it was. Recently introduced substitute. It does appear, though, that the goalkeeping change is going to be made. Well, an injury for one player presents an opportunity for another. Patrick Sekera heads to the sidelines, and 22-year-old Abraham Madrid, who was called up for the first time in March, is about to get an international debut. England too will begin to make alterations. Madueke off to be replaced by Arsenal teammate Abera Eza. As James is coming off as well, Jed Spence coming on. Bukayo Saka, another of the Arsenal quartet that arrived in Florida on Saturday, is coming on. And when you've got a world-class number 9 at your disposal, a player who is likely to contribute as much as anyone else to a deep run in the World Cup, then no chance is being taken with Harry Kane. John Stones is withdrawn to be replaced by Mark Gay. Almost certainly won't be the end of the England changes, but will they use 22 players again today as they did at the weekend? Only time will tell. And Marcus Rashford is on as well for England. This is a fixture he has fond memories of when these sides met at Ellen Road in Leeds ahead of the 2018 World Cup. He was one of the scorers in a 2-0 England win. Anthony Gordon is still on the field. So too Nico O'Reilly. 6 sweeping changes by England. Will disrupt the rhythm. Bellingham for O'Reilly. Anderson. Saka, his first involvement since coming on. Eza. Bellingham. Wide for Gordon. Still looking to be a nuisance. Gordon for Aberchieza. Anderson. Eza. O'Reilly. Bellingham. Fleet of foot. Aberchieza. Well, it deserved a goal, didn't it, for the skill and endeavour of Jude Bellingham. How about this? Dancing through the defence. There's a taking aim. Now, did that strike the elbow? Wide off a Costa Rica player. Poke of the elbow from Daryl Araya. England have got a penalty here, I think. Although that is being checked. Well, they thought they had a penalty late on in the first half that was overturned with the input of VAR. This time the check is very quickly completed, and it will be an England spot kick. An opportunity for Anthony Gordon, who has contributed as much as anybody so far in England colours today to make it 2-0. Anthony Gordon for England, dispatched quite brilliantly. A wonderful penalty to extend England's advantage. That's how you take them. And the first job for the substitute goalkeeper is to retrieve the ball, having been beaten. Off the elbow of Daryl Araya. And the resulting spot kick could not have been placed any better. Brilliant from Anthony Gordon. His third England goal. And the scoreline now is a much fairer reflection of just how dominant England have been. And with the goal comes a natural stoppage and an opportunity for the second half water break. Well, he was very reliable from the penalty spot for Newcastle United this season, Anthony Gordon, particularly in the UEFA Champions League. His stellar campaign has earned him what is very much a dream move, fulfilling a long-time ambition to join Barcelona. Small matter of representing England at the World Cup before that becomes something that he really gets involved in. Well, England's great wish is to add a second star above the badge on the shirt. Addition of the second goal in Orlando today will certainly do for now. Well, those who travel to watch England have generally been able to enjoy the experience of late. In fact, England have been perfect on foreign soil since beaten in the Euro 2024 final by Spain. Played 8-1-8 before today, with England now 2-0 up. Further alterations can be made. Kobbie Mainoo is on. Ollie Watkins is on to replace his club teammate, but not going to play in his position. Quansah is introduced as well. Jude Bellingham departs. So England once again, as they did the other day, getting through the changes. Marcus Rashford has not had much of an opportunity to get involved since he was sent on earlier, but he's got involved now and he's won England a free kick. Saka taking on set-piece responsibility. Looking to show a ruthless streak. Saka's delivery off the head of Alcázar and behind. Saka's corner. Penalty area wrestling goes undealt with in terms of a decision, and then a challenge on Manfred Olgalde, Kobbie Mainoo, the guilty player. Holding, tumbling, Mitchell on Byrne was the one that resulted in an England player on the floor. It's a very different looking England team now, isn't it, to the one that started the game? A flurry of changes either side of the second goal. It's going to be an England free kick conceded by Araya with his challenge on Saka. The yellow card is out again, and it's all got a little bit disjointed, and players are allowing emotions to get the better of them. It's Christopher Nunez, the latest to be cautioned. Eza, oh, that's brilliant. What a pass. Steered wide of the target. Morgan Rogers seems certain to become 3-0, and it's the second time in the game that an England player has passed up what looks to be a straightforward opportunity to score. Madueke in the first half, Morgan Rogers in the second. Those misses, the things taking the gloss really off the workout from an England point of view. It certainly should be more than 2-0. Costa Rica against the now fully changed England team get themselves back into the game. Queiroz as a held from behind by Orlando Gallo. Just as he did on Saturday, albeit a little bit more incrementally. Thomas Tuchel has made 11 substitutions. 22 players used. He's done it in successive games. Prior to that, England haven't used so many in a match since a pre-Euro 2004 friendly against Iceland under the guidance of Sven-Göran Eriksson. Rogers gets it back from Watkins. Eza. Well, inevitably, an element of disarray comes into the game when so many changes have been made so quickly, but continuity isn't so much significant as making sure that players' workloads are managed and that England go into the World Cup feeling as ready and prepared as possible. Mainu has been fouled. Salazar it was who went flying in, and he has already been booked. Just needs to tread a little bit more carefully on the fine line. Eza with the free kick. Byrne was trying to strong-arm himself into the more favourable position. Rashford. Fouled by Queiroz. It's one of the areas, isn't it, there where a decision needs to be made. Wide left for England. Will it be Anthony Gordon? Will it be Marcus Rashford, a player who's joining Barcelona for next season, or a one that has spent the most recent season in Catalonia? Feyron stepping in. Costa Rica can yet make an impression on England and on the game. Mainu gets it away to Eza.